Hello everyone, I'm Dan Philgreen, and this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, February 13th. On today's show, Herb Sklar teaches us how to draw using the right side of our brains. Melody Desalegn tells us why we recognize volunteer hours. And we'll also meet Jim and Glenna Irwin, a delightful Valentine's romance, all centered around music. But first, Kara Minoui is here with news about the many groups meeting today. Kara.
Thank you very much, Dan. We do have quite a few groups getting together, and it starts with the Photo Club this afternoon. Not only will they look at some of their recent snapshots, but they'll have some insight on the upcoming Shell Point Photo Contest, which will begin accepting entries next week. All are welcome to the Shell Point Photo Club this afternoon at 2:15 in the Manatee Room on the island. And then tomorrow, the Veterans Club welcomes Herb Wilcox of Royal Bonnet. Herb told us how he spent the Korean War in, of all places, Trieste, Italy. But at tomorrow's meeting, he'll be spinning another yarn, this one about the Spanish-American War. It's like watching the Military Channel, but in person. So if you're a veteran, come join the Veterans Group tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Also, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and at Shell Point, we celebrate that day like we do most special occasions, with food. Treat your loved one to the scrumptious choices at the Crystal Room, where their Friday buffet has been expanded to include lobster bisque, slow-roasted pork, beef braised with apple gremolata, and many other choices. They also have all-you-can-eat desserts with cherries jubilee, red velvet cake, and chocolate-dipped strawberries. Live entertainment will round out your perfect Valentine's meal for an all-you-can-eat price of just $16.95. The Palm Grill will also have a special Valentine's menu on Friday with filet mignon, lamb chops, and crab cakes, plus Chef Todd's homemade desserts. You'll also enjoy the live jazz of saxophonist Dan Klamoski. Menu prices at the Palm Grill range from $17 to $28, and while they don't take reservations, you can call ahead tomorrow at 454-2059 to make sure you have a seat at the Palm Grill for Valentine's Day. You can even enjoy an evening under the stars as the Astronomy Group hosts a star party Saturday night. Doug Heatherly will have several telescopes available and can describe what to look for in the night sky. The evening star party happens in the darkest part of our property, the golf course parking lot, Saturday night starting at 6:30 p.m. Call the service desk to sign up. While you're there, you can sign up for one of Herb Sklar's art classes. This one is called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. It starts Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Let's hear more about it.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath. I'm here today with Herb Sklar of Eagles Preserve. We're talking about a class that Herb brings back for us a couple times a year because we have so many people waiting to take it. Drawing on the right side of the brain.
Right.
Herb, I remember when you came to me and said, I think we can offer this class. I'll look at the information and I think we can do it. It was so exciting that people who never drew.
Yes, it's true. If you just would like to draw, you never draw, we can get you drawing. Matter of fact, most people on the third class do a drawing that they could frame and put up if they wanted to. We'll get you to that point. But the reason I was hesitant when we spoke of it at the beginning was because this class is taught out in California by the gal who developed it, and it's a 2-day, 8-hour class, 16 hours, and I knew that was not going to work at Shell Point. So I had to cut it back, and it's working because we've done this 3 times already, and people are drawing at the end of it. And the thing with drawing is if you continue to draw every day, pick up a pad, do one little thing, you'll keep getting better. It's like driving a car. If you don't drive your car, after a while, you're not going to be able, you'll forget. So you got to keep it up. But we'll get you to the point, if you never drew before, you will be drawing.
It must be kind of miraculous to be the instructor and see this happen to
It's
people.
a lot of fun, and I couldn't do it without Karen Hubbard's help. She's just great. But for me, the most exciting is the last class, because what we do is we ask you to make a drawing. We won't give you any help. and we take it away from you, and we keep it. And then on the last class, you make the same drawing, and we put them up side by side. And there is not a time when you can't see the progress people who didn't draw and all of a sudden what they're doing. That's a lot of fun.
I like the description. You will soon discover that drawing is a skill that can be learned by every normal person with average eye-hand coordination. Is that the kernel of it, the eye-hand coordination?
Yes, you just need to be able to control the pencil, which is not hard. We're dealing with pencils here, and most people at Shell Point can. It's don't be afraid of it. You could do it. We can get anybody started to draw, and it's a wonderful kind of hobby that you can keep for the rest of your life. And you could sit in a chair, look outside, and just do a sketch, and very rewarding.
It always occurs to me that we're talking about life appreciation here when we're talking about art. Whether you're learning to take a photo or evaluate a photo or make a drawing or use a brush or a palette knife, you're looking at something and appreciating it by recreating?
Well, yes, and all of these classes, whether they're in photography or art, they all do the same thing. They start to train your eye. Yeah. And the more you look, the more you see, the more you can paint, draw, photograph. So it's really just the awakening of the senses of looking and seeing.
And it's a beautiful world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so fabulous. Again, thank you, Herb Sklar. And I hope that you will take a chance here on learning to draw with the right side of your brain. 6 Wednesdays beginning February 19th. Sign up at either service desk.
And now Dan has a word for all of our volunteers. Dan?
Thank you, Kara. Yes, we're thrilled that more than half of our residents volunteer their time in some capacity, whether it's with the Pavilion Auxiliary or the Academy or the Suzy Q or dozens of other places. We like to keep track of all those volunteer hours, but why exactly? Melody Desolé is here with the answer.
Hi, I'm Melody Desolé, the volunteer coordinator here at Shell Point, and I'm here today to talk about volunteer hours and how important it is for you to turn them in. From our auxiliary to our volunteer program, all your hours, your service, your dedication, we notice, and we are so grateful and so thankful for what you do in and out each and every day. Now you may wonder, why should I turn in volunteer hours? It's just one little sheet. It may not matter if I turn it in or if my neighbor turns it in. What is the point? Well, the point is Shell Point is a CCRC, a continuing care retirement community. Your volunteer hours help our rating. So when you turn those hours in, we plug them into the computer, and that total amounts to just a brilliant display of the service and the heart that you have here. In 2012 alone, you had 102,000 volunteer hours. That is incredible. So our goal here, whether you're doing a position on your own or joining a group, is to turn those hours into me. Now, those of you who may question your volunteer hours, you can certainly give me a call to ask any question you may have. Again, my name is Melody. My number is 454-2290. But a little bit more specifically, the hours that we're looking for are academy instructors, butterfly garden, the gift shop, the library, the thrift store. All those groups and more are so important to the overall hours count. If you have anything in question, again, you can call me. But for those of you who work at the thrift store, at the library, they have a binder where you fill out your hours when you clock in, so to speak, and when you clock out for the day. A perfect example of what we'd like to see. We want your name, your specific position, your court, your telephone number, and then the days that you've worked throughout the year. We're starting in 2014, so let's get those hours rolling right off the bat so there's no catch-up to be had at the end of the year. Now again, these hours matter so much to us, and for those of you who have turned them in, thank you. We appreciate that. And you will receive a personal letter from President Peter Dice inviting you to a volunteer recognition. That's just a small token of our appreciation for you. Thank you so much for being a star volunteer, and we look forward to seeing you out and about Shell Point.
As we approach Valentine's Day, we we thought it would be fun to highlight one of the more interesting love stories we've aired on Shell Point TV. Jim and Glenna Irwin were high school sweethearts, but they never married until later in life. Let's see how music played a big role in both of their lives.
I was born in Evanston, Illinois, and lived in the Chicago area much of my life. Went to high school there, and that's where the two of us met. It was a choir picnic, I think.
It was the end of the year, large choir picnic out at a local woods, which now, of course, is all city west of Chicago.
We ended up being high school sweethearts, and I graduated from high school and went to Northwestern, and we were a big item during our senior year. I went in for music education, played in the bands there, went to the Rose Bowl in the band, and the only time that Northwestern has won a bowl game was the year we went. She graduated and went to Michigan State and dumped me, so I needed to get that.
I knew that was coming.
I got a bachelor's and a master's degree there in music, and then when the Korean War, I went to the 5th Army Band in Fort Sheridan, Illinois for 3 years, and was a librarian for them, played French horn, and did some conducting. Then after that, in 1955, I went to Fordson High School in Dearborn, Michigan, taught band and orchestra there for 8 years, and then got kind of overloaded with that and moved into counseling for the next 23 years.
I got a degree in music education, just the same as he did. I took lessons on one representative instrument from the woodwinds and the brass and strings, which is an unbelievable experience if you've never blown an instrument. And you go from the embouchure required for a brass instrument in the morning to one for a clarinet in the afternoon. By evening, I couldn't even smile anymore. Well, I got married right after I graduated, a week after I graduated, and went with my former husband in the Army to El Paso, Texas, and had a fascinating time teaching on the Mexican border. And I took a job back at Michigan State in the same music department, teaching one of the music ed courses. Now all of my former professors are saying, just call me Ed. I'm going, oh, sure, Dr. So-and-so. I can surely do that. We kept moving a lot. We ended up in Southeast Asian countries while he was doing some medical education work. So we spent a lot of time in Thailand, a lot of time in Sri Lanka, lived in Indonesia for a couple of years, and had some wonderful, wonderful experiences. I did a little teaching over there, and I said, be sure and give me small classes and nothing where I have to do a lot of talking or lecturing. I can get just so far in the Indonesian language, and that's the end of that. So with that, they gave me 2 classes back-to-back of 50 each. And one girl in one class spoke quite fluent English. That was that. And I was really good at bargaining in the marketplace for bananas, but I went from that to one was basically quite a bit of talking and lecturing. So I faked it a lot. I came across this instrument being played, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I asked a dealer if he could have a set made for me. I wanted 2.5 octaves, which is unusually long and large. It's made from bamboo, but it had to be, the bamboo had to come from a particular island because bamboo can stretch, crack, it's very fragile. Actually, it looks strong, and it is strong, but still the temperature and humidity changes makes a big difference.
Well, I was in the process of a divorce, and I was up in my summer cabin in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
As was I. Every year he used to invite me and my husband to come up and visit him when I went up for my uncle's birthday in August. And every year my husband wasn't interested in my visiting as my old boyfriend anyway, so we really never did until finally 96. He said, how about breakfast? And I said, well, I'll tell you what, the whole family's getting together at a restaurant, and I'm sure you're welcome to drive. Now, this is 2.5 hours away, and this man doesn't get up early. We were meeting at 8 o'clock because a lot of us had to catch flights. He had to be up at 5. He couldn't have made it otherwise. I haven't seen him at 5 o'clock since then. But of course, he talks to my uncle the whole time about the Upper Peninsula. I don't think I got a word in edgewise. I think I said how nice your shirt was, and that was about it.
And ever since, I haven't had a chance to get a word in edgewise.
He took me to the airport.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Oh.
I had 38 years of marriage behind me. She had 45. We figured that with, what does that add up to, 83 years of experience, we ought to get this one right. And I think we've gotten it pretty right, haven't we?
It's perfect, isn't it?
Perfect.
Isn't it perfect?
Whatever you say, do.
We are delighted to be at Shell Point. We've thought about it for several years, and finally the time was exactly right. Wonderful. We're delighted, aren't we?
We are very delighted to be here.
There we go.
Excellent.
Do you know of a unique romantic story of the couples here at Shell Point? Let us know about it. Contact Jared Pike by phone or email, and let's tell their story on Shell Point TV. Now, let's cover all of today's happenings, followed by your Academy News, menus, and Village Church Connections.
Hi, I'm Brace Clark, and I'm here with Bev Chanley today to give you the Shell Point lineup for Thursday, February the 13th. We're going to start off the morning at 7:15 with the Health Connections Bend, Breathe, and Balance on the Island Health Club. At 8 o'clock, Men's Golf Association will meet at the Shell Point Golf Club. At 8 o'clock, there will be round-robin tennis at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. 8:30 is Beach Day. Court pickups will begin at 8:30 at the Island, 8:40 in the Woodlands, and 8:50 at Eagles Preserve. Sign-up is required. At 9:30, current events will take place in the game room at the Woodlands. At 9:30, ladies match play at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. At 9:30, the Paddlers Club will meet at the Kayak Storage Unit on the Island. 9:30, Samba card game will be held at the Sable Room at the Woodlands. At 9:45, Introduction to Beginning Line Dancing will take place at the Health Club on the Island. At 10 o'clock, the Susie Q will be traveling to Woody's for lunch. Sign-up is required. At 10:15, Basic Line Dancing will take place at the Health Club on the Island. At 10:15, the Poetry Group will meet in the Tarpon Room on the Island. Over to you, Bev, for the afternoon lineup.
Thanks, Bryce. The afternoon begins at 12:45, where we have Mahjong being played in the Library Lounge. Then we jump to 1:15 for Shuffleboard at the Shuffleboard Court, behind the Resident Activities Center. At 2:15, the Photo Club will be in the Manatee Room. At 2:45, we have a Health Connections class. This is Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club. That's currently full. And then we'll jump to 4 o'clock, where the seamstress will be here for her weekly service, and she will be in the Osprey Room. At 4:30, we have Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. Then we'll jump to 6:30 for Pinochle. That'll be played in the Library Lounge on the Island. And our last activity today is the Trailblazers Bible Study Group. They'll be in the Game Room of the Woodlands. We're so glad you joined us today, and we will see you back here tomorrow for the weekend edition of the Happenings segment.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. At 9:15, the power of right-clicking continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the Island. At 1 o'clock, our story writing class continues in the Buttonwood Room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, Facebook continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the Island. And at 2:30, iPad, What's in the Air, continues in the Oak Room of the Woodlands. Tomorrow we have 2 art workshops with artist Joanna Koch. The first in the morning, Understanding Color, and in the afternoon we have Refresh Your Living Space. You can sign up for either or both at either service desk.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is fried chicken with cheddar macaroni and green beans. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $11.95, and the soup of the day is lentil. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a fish sandwich with fries and coleslaw for $7.25. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are New York strip for $19.95 or barbecue shrimp for $13.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm here today with Pastor Andy Hawkins, and we're going to talk a little bit about church membership, because we have an opportunity for people to become members in the church very soon. In fact, this coming Sunday. So, Andy, tell me about it. Why membership?
That's a great question. You know, a lot of church traditions have a widely varied approach to membership in a church. I mean, I've seen churches that if you show up for a couple of weeks, they consider you a member. Yeah. Other churches have an elaborate process for becoming a church member, lengthy courses and interviews and all those kinds of things. And most churches are somewhere in between that. And I think that's pretty much where we are. But there's a lot of value to membership. One of the values of membership is just the process that people go through to become a member of a church like the Village Church. Because what we do is we have people take a class, and in that class they're introduced to some of the fundamentals of the Christian faith. They're also introduced to aspects of our association with the Christian and Missionary Alliance, which is the denomination that we're connected with. They'll also learn a lot about the life and ministry of the Village Church, so it's a lot easier to get connected. So I like people to go through that process just to learn the things that we are able to study during that session together. It takes about an hour and a half or so to go through the material, and then there's some things to read if people want more information. But just the value of that sort of education is a good reason to go through a membership process. Right. And then the other reasons involve just simply making a formal connection with a local fellowship.
But don't you think that many of the people who are coming to Shell Point, who move in as new residents, already have church membership up north somewhere, or somewhere else in Florida come to that?
Yeah, they do indeed. Many of them do. And obviously people are in a bit of a transition when they move to Shell Point, and they're especially in a transition if the Village Church is a new church for them. Right. And so there are ways to kind of sort those kinds of things out. So for instance, if folks are spending part of the year here and part of the year up north, and they have connections with a local church up north, then obviously we wouldn't expect them to break those kinds of ties. So we have what's called an associate membership here at the Village Church, in which people can formally belong to our church and pretty much be able to do pretty much everything that any other member could do, but we recognize that they also have a connection and a loyalty to a church back in the north. Other people have made a transition. This is now their permanent home. They might not want to retain that kind of formal relationship, so they might want to become a regular member. But either way, we're very comfortable with that, and so we value people that have connections with other churches. That's very frequent here in the Village Church.
Well, thank you, Andy, and we're looking forward to the next meeting for membership, which will be on Sunday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. We're looking forward to a good time then, and thank you all for watching Village Church Connections.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as we learn how all those tables get set up and taken down for all the wonderful events here at Shell Point.
Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, February 13th. I'm Dan Philgreen.
And I'm Kara Minowie. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.